This land of ours is under attack. Time has come, we're gonna take it back. Just wait and see. Don't tread on me. I won't sit back, stand idly by, and watch the heart of my nation die. Oh, not me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my Bible, don't tread on my guns, don't you tread on my faith in God's only son. Don't tread on me, don't tread on me.
Makes you think, huh? And then not to mention with the with this thing about the economy, it's not Trump's fault. This is still the backlash from Biden's economy because from what I heard, I think it was Dan Bongino that said it. Trump really technically does not start till April 15th or something like that. Is when the cabinet, everybody's in there, then they can hit the ground running.
Right. And the thing is like he's already opened everything back up for our energy. Okay. Gas prices, I've noticed, are still going up. So this is where we need to look to the gas companies, oil companies, and say, why are you guys doing this to us? Why are you helping Jerome Powell keep the inflation up? Because as soon as they lower their prices on oil or fuel, Jerome Powell and them quit being greedy and lower the interest rates way back down, it's still going to have issues. But I got a feeling that the central bank is on its last leg. I mean, the Federal Reserve.
This is
central bank.
It is. And I think it has also something to do with that and Rockefeller's companies. Because remember, people do not know this. A little over 100 years ago, actually, well, it was over 110 years ago or more, they cornered the market in the oil. And that's where government said, no, you come back here, we're going to try to restrain you. They go, okay, fine, we'll have 3 oil companies, but I'll own them all. Just don't tell nobody. So then then they find out, okay, they noticed that the Congress, they gave them the powers. And then that's when they started infiltrating their way in there and sneaking their way into the Congress and buying them off. And hey, you want a jet, you want a yacht, you want another home.
Yep.
It's like, I wonder what some of these people are guilty of that have multiple homes.
Well, look what Woodrow Wilson did to us in 1913 in Jekyll Island, December 23rd. He railroaded us. The Federal Reserve is an illegal entity. The 16th Amendment required that they put in, really required 2/3 of the vote in the House and Senate, and required 2/3 of the states to ratify it. Did that happen? I don't think it did. So that makes that an illegal amendment. And that's where in that amendment they have the right to tax us through the IRS and what have you. Yeah, it's all pretty heavy duty, but it's going to come to a head here pretty quick.
I was told that when Doge finds or all this gets ironed out, that Americans are going to get some of their taxes back, or taxes back to certain because some people paid more taxes than others. Obviously, some are going to receive more than others. Like the dope dealers aren't going to receive shit because most of their stuff's in cash. They got their stuff right away. You know what I mean? Those guys, those type of guys, are going to not feel affected because you're going to hear the bitching from one spectrum to the other, Steve. The rich guy got more taxes back than I did, or the poor guy got less.
Yeah, well, a lot of the rich do pay a lot more in taxes anyways, okay? But when you're the elitist billionaires, you know how to circumnavigate that stuff. You know how you circumnavigate it? You form a foundation. You only have to give 3% of what the foundation takes in a year. And then you just pay yourself a little measly salary of 50 grand a year, and that's all you pay taxes on. You buy your houses, you buy your cars, you take your trips, you fly in your private airplanes through the foundation.
That's why you got the Clinton Foundation and all that.
They all have foundations. They cost about $5 grand to set up.
That's pennies for them. They probably get a donor to pay for that because of.
You don't even need a storefront or nothing. You just do, and like I said, you just give 3% to charity a year.
And that's just they're giving to each other, and that's where it's the big club. And I've seen the big club because When I worked in Florida, in construction, I used to work in multi-million-dollar schnoity-toity asswipes houses. And I mean asswipes. Not all rich people are asswipes, but these were asswipes.
Yeah.
Treat you like shit and can't change their own light bulb. Like, peasant, come change my light bulb. It's like, okay, screw you. Go leave in the dark.
Yeah. Here's a long pole to reach up to your ceiling. Do your own light bulb.
Yeah, because they want you to wear booties on a marble floor, Steve. They also want you to wear booties on a ladder. It's like, no and no, thank you.
Oh, it's like going on a ladder on your bare feet. I'm sorry, my feet aren't that damn tough.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get a bed of rocks and put them in my basement and exercise on a bed of rocks. You know, do
So
push-ups and jumping jacks.
Is that thing good? Is that thing good, or is that just a little shithead? Because he was saying stuff like that, and I did buy some smooth rocks or other kind of rocks to walk
I
through.
talked about doing that too, though.
Okay.
You didn't tell me that. I told them I wanted to do that.
Well, this was not the first stage, but the second backstage.
Oh, and the second to the second backstage,
Where the
where
secrets were
Werewolf
happening.
meets Mama Boy. I don't know.
Well, no, that's where I'm a doctor. Don't worry about it. I'm a doctor. Okay, a doctor and something else, but that's as shallow as we can go before without discriminating. And you guys will eventually figure it out. Well, the cat will be out of the bag because there will be no hiding. I'm pretty sure this person might be off somewhere warm or cold. I don't know which one they had determined. Because also some people are not thinking about this about Cuba and Guantanamo. They could go down too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They can have a basement, so they can have almost unlimited residents coming there for.
Floor. Serious.
It's almost too good for them, Steve.
Oh, but they don't have the high-speed tunnel cutter.
Oh, someone else talked about those high-speed turd cutters, Steve.
Yeah.
Not that fast though. They said that they were high speed because it was something about mega projects I was watching. It was 3 hours long last night.
Well, high speed's probably like from 2 miles an hour to 4 miles an hour. Now, working on the tunnels for the mag trains, underground mag trains. He was talking about doing that, and they built some, but they don't talk about it anymore because they're probably busy carving tunnels out under our country.
Did you speak or not speak? Did you hear about the tunnels that happened, the accident that happened 3 or 4 days ago, where a tunnel, a big explosion, truck, stuff like that?
Where?
Oh boy, I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look at my Facebook feeds. But in the meantime, I'll show you the
deck here.
Oh, wrong one. In the meantime, while I'm looking it up, I could show you what I was discussing with you online, Steve, about I don't know if this is woke, but yeah, we're having multiple issues with all of our military. Here's another one where where is it? Hide the this is getting annoying. Every update's a downgrade with Zoom. That thing used to be able to hide on its own.
Yeah.
Or not even show up on the recordings.
Well, it's like, you look back, who was the commander on deck? Who was piloting the ship? Why did they even let something get that close to a military ship to begin with?
You're right. Without a warning.
Today's episode of
Shot. You're right.
Are we dealing with DEI again?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously, you think about it.
You're right. I have to say probably yes, because remember, they kicked us all off, Steve.
Yeah, well, there's got to be regulations for distance. There's certain zones that besides being a carrier, how they know that wasn't an enemy cargo ship that was designed to detonate next to the carrier.
Yeah, or have those missiles pop out of it. And then not to mention, Steve, here in America, they won't let you get anywhere close to warship, not an aircraft carrier, a warship, like in Florida. Here, I might as well stop the video for a sec. In Florida, they all across the coast, if you get within a certain radius, it doesn't matter if it's a frigate or any smaller, they won't let you get in a certain distance. And you're on a little teeny tiny fiberglass thing. I mean, they could run you over and not really give two shits, you know. And yeah, they you're right. They don't know what's going on. And then something like that where they get a big cruise ship, but like I said, there's something else going on here. I don't know if it's nefarious.
Of what's going on with shipping, we look at the damage to the USS Harry S. Truman. I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano. Welcome to today's episode. So yesterday we did a detailed video on what we knew concerning the collision between the USS Harry S. Truman and the motor vessel Besiktas M that was outbound from the Suez Canal in the area around the anchorage of the Suez on the evening of Wednesday, February 12th. We've got more information on the damage to the vessel, along with some ideas about what specifically happened. We're going to break that down for you now. If you're new to the channel, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be alerted about new videos as they come out. Here's a story over at USNI News. Sam Lagrone, carrier USS Harry S. Truman, hull pierced in collision, heading to port for repairs. The hull of the aircraft carrier Harry S. Truman was pierced above the waterline during a Wednesday collision with a merchant tanker. It's actually a bulk carrier, just north of the entrance to the Suez Canal. The bow of the bulker, MV Besiktas M, collided with the starboard quarter of Truman, leaving a small gash in the side of the carrier above the waterline and piercing the hull, according to two Navy officials. Additionally, the Navy released a photo on Friday showing damage to a sponson to the rear of the starboard aircraft elevator that USNI News understands is in addition to damage to the ship further aft. As of Friday, the aircraft carrier was underway in the Eastern Mediterranean and planning to pull into port so an inspection team can assess the repairs needed for the ship. So let's take a look at that damage. That damage was located on the starboard quarter, the right rear section of the ship, just aft of the main island of the vessel. The island is right here, the large structure that's up on deck. On the starboard side, the right side of the vessel, you have three elevators. Elevator 1, you can see the black hole here. The elevator's in the up position here. Second elevator is just forward of the island. The third elevator is after the island. And then just after that elevator is a sponson that sticks out. This is where the damage was incurred. This is another image, earlier image of the Truman. Matter of fact, you can date this image pretty early because the ship still has the A and B crane here still mounted. This
also has a nice paint job on it.
Is where the vessel...
Yeah, I know. I wonder how often they got to do that. I mean, you can see a little bit.
I don't know. When I was a kid and my dad was in the Navy, the ships never looked like that.
Never look rusty? Yeah.
Yeah, they were always pretty premium looking. My dad said he'd even paint them out at sea to keep that covered up.
Really? I didn't know they could give cover. I mean, I guess if it's like this, they could paint it at sea, but
yeah.
Because you remember they do the dives. I don't know. I think they lower these somewhat, and then they have nets going down, and all sorts of craft on the when they go swimming.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call it, but there's a special name.
Was hit. You'll notice this large pipe that runs along the vessel here. This is the exhaust for the vessel's incinerator, so that when it burns off material, garbage, this is where the incinerator is. So the incinerator is located within this sponson, and then interior of the sponson is some crewing quarters. This is the damage as released by the U.S. Navy. This image was put out on DVIDS as a defense video and imaging system. The image was taken by the Truman's rib boat going around, so you can see the damage to the sponson. Basically what happened is the starboard bow of Besiktas M came up underneath this sponson and literally just sheared and ripped through the sponson. We'll zoom in here a little bit. You can see where insulation had been ripped out. You can see the interior of the ship right here. This is that large pipe for the incinerator. So the incinerator is sitting right here. There's a berthing area just interior of here where crew members would have been asleep. Remember, this happened at about 11:46 p.m. that evening. This was where the crane was mounted. Right now you can see a 50 caliber machine gun up here where the vessel is. Here is the number 3 elevator. So what we don't know is if this sponson has been damaged enough that it prohibits the lowering of the number 3 elevator. Favorite image in this entire picture is this sailor just sitting here looking at this going, this guy's going, oh crap. That's that guy's image right there. That's an oh crap image right there from that sailor. But you can see the damage here. Fortunately, nobody was injured. We can have a little bit of humor here, but nobody was injured. The other thing we don't know, and it's alluded to in the USNI story, is that there may be more damage further aft to the left side of here. Besiktas M came up underneath underneath this sponson, but it could have potentially hit the vessel further aft. So there may be more hull punctures down the side of the vessel. We just don't see it from this image. This is an image I pulled off of Twitter. It shows the Harry S. Truman before the accident happened, but you see the sponson from a position up forward. And more importantly, you see the elevator number 3 lowered. Now, the cables and machinery to raise and lower it are mounted up high. So this is well above where the sponson is. So the machinery to lower and raise the elevator should be fine. What we don't know is the clearance between the sponson and the elevator. Did the damage shift the sponson and cause some material to prohibit the lowering of this elevator? If one of the 4 elevators on the Truman is out, that's a serious impact in their ability to do air operations. They can still do air operations, but it would be a limiting factor losing one of 4 elevators on board the vessel. We also have this image, which comes from a crew member on board Besiktas M, showing the damage to the starboard bow of the vessel. So this image is looking aft. You're looking back toward the house on the vessel. Imagine being all the way up on the very front bow of the vessel. You're looking back aft. You're looking at the starboard side, the right side. You always say the starboard side when you're looking forward on a vessel.
Let me go.
You're
I
looking
gotta
at
go
the
check
starboard
on
side of the vessel. You'll notice this large spool here that is on the on the deck here. Another one of these large spools are mounted. These are mooring lines. Ships' mooring lines are mounted on these spools so that you can kind of reel them off, reel them back on very quickly. Obviously, this spool came into contact with that sponson, underneath that sponson, and sheared it off. You can see where the metal has literally been ripped apart. This sponson has been, this reel has been thrown back. You'll also notice here, this is the corner of the starboard forward hatch combing for hatch number 1. This is the forward hatch. So Besiktas M is a bulk carrier, a 50,000 ton bulk carrier, about 650 feet in length. This hatch combing obviously came up underneath the Truman's sponson and hit. You can see how the hatch combing has been bent, peeled back, damage done to this. And that's a lot of damage being done to that vessel. It's a lot of force that was exerted. What we don't know and what we don't see from any of these images is any damage to the physical bow of the Besiktas M. I'm talking about the very front of the ship, whether or not that bow came into contact with the Truman hull and potentially caused more damage down the side of the vessel. So I had some questions from the video yesterday I want to address. Number 1, who is the commanding officer on board the Truman? It's Captain David Snowden. This comes from the Commander Naval Air Forces Atlantic. It shows you the commanding officer. He's an Annapolis grad, 96, Bachelor of Science degree in aerospace engineering.
Of course,
all
Snowden.
captains of aircraft carriers, he is an aviator. There is a law in place, goes back to the 1930s, that require naval aviators to be in command of aircraft carriers. So he is not a ship driver. He is not a SWO, a surface warfare officer. He is an aviator. He worked on board VFA squadrons, so F-18s he obviously was a part of. He had been the executive officer on board the Truman. He had a commanding officer position on board the USS San Antonio, LPD, a landing ship, then became commanding officer of San Antonio. And I'm going to imagine that he is going to be relieved here for this action. It's pretty typical for the Navy. They don't like to leave commanding officers who have issues. Unless you're the commanding officer of the Bonhomme Richard and you lose your ship in port in San Diego, then you get to keep command. Feeling here that Captain Snowden will be relieved. The USNI story says the ship is heading for port. I would envision it's heading back to Suda Bay in Crete. That's probably it's the closest port for them. They will do some assessment on the vessel, whether or not it has damage. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I also want.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to continue with the.
No, that's fine.
But I mean, it's just enough to show. It was the wrong sea. I was thinking Panama, but it was the Suez Canal it was going through.
Yeah. I'm just really curious how that ship got that close to a carrier.
Snowden, man, did you know that? You remember how evil Snowden was?
Oh yeah.
Is whatever, We haven't heard about him or from him or the peanut
I
gallery.
heard a little blurb the other day, but that I don't remember even what it was. To be honest with you.
Oh, I know. It's getting more and more insane. But the no, I mean the actions of people, and it almost looks like God's starting to win more and more in this battle.
Yeah, I really feel like that the evilness is on the run at this stage. And a lot of the people, I mean, we're looking at the Democrats right now. If anything, they should be wanting to assist to clean up the problems. These just aren't little, a billion here, a billion here. We're talking trillions. Because they talked about the Treasury. What was it? 3.7 trillion. I'm trying to remember, but all the Treasury checks or that goes to, there's a supposed to put a code in of what it belongs to, what is, and then a comment. None of them had codes where they went, what they belong to, why they were being used, what the money's being used for.
They knew it. They know exactly what's going to. They didn't care.
Oh, they do. It's just, why do you think they're screaming to hide it? So when you look at that perspective, that instead of them helping, they're doing everything they can to hinder it. Is that because we're getting into their piggy bank that they robbed from us? Seriously.
Yeah. It's that Ben Garrison cartoon where the lights are off and you have all the you have Nancy Pelosi and all the other Schumer and all of them sticking their hand in the cookie jar, and then Trump turns on the light and goes, "Gotcha."
Yeah.
That was back when they tried to impeach him the first or second time, some shit like.
Oh yeah.
I got the cartoons. But who are we in debt to before you go on? Who in the fuck are we in debt to? Who? They don't mention
debt to Blue Sky because the Federal Reserve printed money from nothing and gave it to us, the people, with interest. So how are we even in debt? That debt, I think it's fake. I think it's a way to keep taking our money.
It's to keep us
And they
slaves.
charge interest against the debt they created. Why do you think Powell doesn't want to take down the interest rate? Because that's how the Bank of England's getting all their money.
How do you think they created credit cards too, dude? It was only in the 80s.
Yeah, it's not to help us, it's to take more money from us.
Yeah.
It does. It just takes, it's like, and that's how they plead out your wealth too. Because most of us will make sure we make our payments, even though we're depleting ourselves.
And they don't care about you whatsoever. They only care that you miss a payment. That's it.
Oh yeah,
They
then
don't
they
care that
double
you're
the
broke.
payment, and then they screw your credit.
Well, they don't care it's your last $20. They don't care if it's your last 50. They don't give a shit. They want you to pay and they don't care. I get, oh, don't charge, blah, blah, blah. But have you been living in the past, 4 fucking years?
They're all central bankers. They're all, it's horrible what's allowed to continue. I mean, look at your house. You pay on your house for 10 years and you barely have touched the principal, but most of the payment is going to interest, taxes, and insurance.
Speaking about that, also, Steve, Mom and I are driving around here in Omaha, and I'm looking at really nice houses. I mean, not nice aesthetic wise, need a little bit of facelift, maybe siding changed or paint jobs. And it's like all of this is deteriorating and decaying because we can't afford to pay for it. We're just trying to keep afloat or trying to keep ourselves entertained, and sometimes like they made it to where going to work, you're actually paying to go to work now because the gas is so expensive. They have the insurances that are so expensive. Oh, you want to buy a new car? More expensive. Well, they say it's safer, more expensive. Doesn't matter. It should actually be the opposite, not the, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and then
you think the older would be more dangerous car-wise.
When you go to register a car, they base it off the value of the vehicle. How many times you pay taxes on something? What about all the road tax gas? Seriously, all the money is being mismanaged. We're being robbed. At every single point, the deep state has been robbing the people. Not only in this country, but people of the entire planet.
I got a 3/4 ton, and I'm getting charged for commercial taxes here in Omaha, and that's wrong. And if, like I said, if I was starting to do work with my truck, then that's a different story. Then yeah, because you'd be hauling more weight and decaying the road. And then my mother, well, I don't know if I said this last one, but I'll say it again. Mom was telling me why you get so pissed off about the bombs or electric vehicles. I call them bomb. One, they weigh more than my pickup truck, and I guarantee you they get fucking government grants for them not to, in taxes and stuff like that. They don't have to pay during the registrations and stuff that I have to pay for my vehicle.
Right.
And then, not to mention they're just unsafe. There's still, no way to put them out. So imagine yourself in a tunnel where you can't put out a fire, and there's one on this side and one on this side of you. What are you going to do? Better be praying Yahuwah that some sort of sprinkler system's there, or else you're going to meet them.
And doesn't help with a burning battery.
Oh, I know. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It just turns into a torch and incinerates everything around it.
Yeah, or if you
Or like that poor Chinese guy in the elevator, he took the battery off his bike, got into an elevator, and the battery ignited. He was trapped in the elevator. That's not a pretty way to go.
and they knew it. They know that there's alternative and better ways. We've had electric vehicles for well over 100 years. Now we're like, 100 years ago.
Oh, actually, the first one was like 1830 something. Yeah, then they started. The last electric car was made in 1934. At the turn of the century, an electric car had a range of 100 miles, and it would do 40 miles an hour.
I noticed the batteries are lighter. The lithium.
Those are nickel iron batteries. They're a nickel battery. They'll last forever.
Yeah, I remember those because I don't know if you should know, Steve. Would you like a warranty on your battery, sir? Yes. The minimum was like 48, or you could go out to 72 months or longer. Nope.
Yeah.
The longest you can get now is 36, and it's like it shits out right at 37 months. They're designed to do that. But like I said, with the lightweight, when I interrupted you, the lightweight ones, because I was in drag racing, and we had the lithium. I even have a video I'll have to put up one day of it blowing up. The lithium battery blowing up. It was out there smoking and shit. That was before all the IEDs of what was it, the Note 7s, I think they were blowing up.
Oh, the old laptops?
No, cell phone.
Huh? Cell phones.
The Samsungs, yeah, they were blowing up. But no,
Well, but I remember when the cell phones, mine doesn't get that hot. But when you used to use them continuously, the batteries got really hot in them. Really hot.
I remember.
Yeah.
The
Then
good old day.
You can't put that fire out either when it starts.
No, but at least you could separate it.
Oh yeah, you might. Back then, you could pop the batteries out.
What are you gonna do if you're up in the
allowed
air?
to take batteries out now, huh?
That's why I said, what are you gonna do if you're up in the air, Steve? That same scenario with the guy in the elevator. Do that same thing up there. You're talking. You have laptops that way, and you have cell phones that way that are getting shittier and shittier made. But man, you go in for a cell phone. I think I went in to get a repair. Remember we talked about how you can't get a technician to go in. You can't go to Verizon anymore to get a technician.
Right.
I looked at the phones. $1,800 fucking dollars, dude. The phone's not that fancy.
No. And the thing is, a lot of these phones keep on running if you can get software just to go clean all the crap out of them.
Don't update them. If you update the software, then it downgrades it. I had made that mistake with my Motorola. I was like, oh, here comes an update. I got to hit update. And, it got worse. It got slower. You're right, Steve. The battery life got worse. The camera got worse. And then, let me go update the camera again. It got worse. The camera looked as bad as what we look at right now. It looks like I've been looking at you with Vaseline all night long.
Oh, yeah, I know what the camera's called. It's right there. I'll find it.
We'll just say, hey, this camera, and that's where the Googles is helpful, and then you just type that in, this problem, and then they sometimes they're helpful with videos, sometimes they're not.
But you have to find the videos where people don't want to talk too much. You get people telling you the life story. And
Oh yeah, hi.
he's just like, oh, I just need how do I get this clip off of this car without breaking it? Well, when I was a young boy and used to go fishing down by the river,
With Aunt Sue.
yeah, but man, Sue made some really killer cherry pie. We'll get to the clip in a minute. But however,
It's snowing today here in August. Yeah. Oh, the Bucks, man. Whoa, but man, the Bucks are doing good this year. I think they're going the latest toilet bowl. All random shit. Yeah, I know what you mean, Steve. It's
yeah,
because recently I'll do research on the truck. If there's
yeah.
a certain problem, I'll be like, okay, can I fix it, or should I just go take it to my cousin? I mean, how big of a pain in the ass is this? Do I have to actually get a lift? Do you have special tools? Then if you go that far, fuck it. I'd rather go have him do it because they deal with LSs all the
They
time.
got it. They know all the procedures and they know how to make things go a little quicker.
Bingo. It's worth the price.
Yeah.
Depending on how, like the alternator, I could do. Other
Yeah.
stuff, it's like brakes. I'm contemplating it. I could
Just
do it,
squeeze
but
Yeah.
I could do. I mean, I squeezed them before. I already bought that's the reason why I have a C clamp. Steve, I used to do it on my Firebird. I never did it on this Camaro, but yeah, I used to do it on my Firebird all the time. Or actually, no, that's why not all the time, but I did it once because of the like I said, just like this truck. I got that Firebird and the brakes were worked. You get it and you're like, you start hitting the brakes and you're fucking doing this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wheels and it gets
But
annoying
just
after a while.
your rotors are toast.
Yep. And these are actually toast because when I was down there spray painting it this fall, I felt the rotor with my finger, and it's the rotors are actually in there. They think it's a
Well,
meat.
you could go online. Detroit Axle, I put those on my Charger, those rotors. They
Mhm.
make rotors and pads. They're holding up really well, and I've got like 39,000 on them, and they're doing well. But these are drilled and slotted with full ceramic pads, and they weren't that much. I was surprised. I think the whole set, front and back, was only like $261. Super cheap.
Oh,
So your truck, you should be able to about 150-ish, 135 for
say,
brakes and for pads and rotors.
it
Good
was
one.
178 at the auto parts stores is what I.
But yeah, if you go online, go to Rock Auto.
Yeah.
I kind of avoid Amazon with car parts now because I've had bad luck with them. And then to send stuff that doesn't even work. They sent me a map sensor for 3.4, not a 5.7, for the manifold. I'm like, I'm gonna send this $20 thing back. This is gonna be a pain in the butt. So I said, forget it.
Yeah, it's even a bigger pain in the ass for you too, Steve, because I have to return parts now, but luckily I can go over to my sister's house and drop off the part to her, or and then she's gonna give it to her husband. Her husband's gonna ship it off. But you gotta make a trip back into town on Pony Express and fucking do it.
No, I guess you can return Amazon stuff at Kohl's now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird, but I don't darken their doorway after what they did to me.
Oh yeah, you have the same mode as I do, Steve, about the Menards. The local Menards here in Bellevue, and when they had the face diaper situation, I got all my shit and everything. I was right there in the checkout. I put my stuff down, and they said, "You have to wear a mask. We will not check you out." I said, "Peace. I'm out, bitches."
Yeah.
And I left. And I'm not wearing a fucking face diaper. I told them.
What happened with Kohl's, I had never missed a payment. I was like 30 days off. It was right in the middle of COVID. And so I was right over one day and I called them up. Well, that's okay, Mr. Mazer. We'll drop the late charge. You don't worry about it. You're good. And I said, oh yeah, by the way, I heard that you guys quit carrying Mike Mandel, the Pillowman's Pillow. Can you send me to anybody in charge of that? I just wanted to make a comment concerning the issue. So I left a comment, tell them, you guys are retail direct sell. Why are you even politically messing with Mike Lindell? He is just trying to save our country. And next thing, 2 months later, I get a mark on my credit, 30 days late, zero balance due.
Hmm.
That's why I don't want to deal with them anymore. Because they wanted to get political and they forgave one time I was late, they forgave it, even dropped the charge. Yeah. And that was wrong. These retail stores, box stores, they need to stay the hell out of politics and just sell products. That's what they do. That's it. They don't need to be getting involved in the politics or anything like that. Besides, I wanted to buy one of his pillows too, right there in the store, but you couldn't anymore. Now you got to order them because you got these other woke pieces of crap stores that won't carry his pillow.
You're right.
So it's a pretty sad state of affairs. But they're all getting punished. Kohl's is starting to fall apart. They're cursed.
I'm gonna make a custom pillow of my pillow. I just want to take material out. I like a thinner pillow.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a thin pillow as far as I know. I don't need the I don't want the they have one that's like an airplane pillow, but not that one. I just want a thin pillow. And most of their pillows are so thick it hurts my neck, kind of like when you
Yeah,
do.
I heard that, but my pillow is really good pillow.
It is.
Yeah, nowadays, you think about it when you're a kid and you're on the airplane, they give you the airplane pillow and the blanket. And now you're like, because they didn't clean those things, they just threw them up in the luggage space. So you don't know who was laying on that pillow.
Or where that pillow was laying.
I know.
Oh, my ass hurts. You know what I mean? My back hurts.
Oh, I just farted on it.
Yeah, but I remember them always pulling out of plastic when I was there.
Well, yeah, some, but I remember some that weren't. In the blankets.
Does that mean you could take it though if they pull out of plastic? Because when I was younger, they were giving you plastic wings and stuff like that, where with the safety pin you could put it in. They give you a deck of cards, and not everyone was a pussy, so they gave you peanuts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
usually even on a short flight, you got a nice sandwich. Now you get a bag of whatever.
It's I don't know what it is now, to be honest with you. I remember last time when I flew was when we went out to DC, and oh man, that was hell.
Yeah.
That was hell. I'd never fly again.
Oh my gosh, dude. Some guy, I was in the jetway and some dude was like 4 or 5 people behind me and I could smell him.
Oh.
And who sits down right next to me? And we got our masks going, and it's hot in there. And the guy's slopping his greasy chicken all over the place. I almost had to grab the barf bag. Literally. I don't get sick on airplanes either.
I was actually grabbing the barf bag due to my sickness, but I didn't have anybody around me, Steve. I was at the very last.
This guy stunk so bad. When you can smell somebody in a jetway 4 people down, you stink. It's like I should have pulled out a big can of Lysol.
Sir, that's an aerosol. You can't use that here.
I'll get a pump one.
Oh, Febreze? Yeah, put it in a Febreze bottle.
Yeah, I can see it now. What are you doing?
Sir, that's assault. Well, you're assaulting me with your smell, but I don't know. I smelled kerosene the whole time.
Oh, you smell jet fuel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, that's not what made me sick. My injury symptoms made me sick. And no, Doge is not faking. It's that God is powerful with our words. It's injury symptoms. If I claim it, then
Yeah.
The same way as if you start saying you're sick every fucking day, you're manifesting it. Not manifesting as in, oh, chakra, oh God, it's no. God said our words are powerful. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you'll be able to move a mountain. That's also how who brought who back to life with our words? I forgot who that was. Not with a ring, Steve, but with our word.
Who brought who back to life?
Someone in the Bible brought someone back to life from the grave with their voice.
Oh,
but not the ring.
Oh, no, it was, remember the centurion that came to Christ and his daughter was sick on her deathbed?
Is that what it was?
And he said that she is, he said, you know, but he told him, you don't have to go with me. Just say it's done. And I believe you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And, yeah, you gotta be really, we have to be careful with our words. We
But
really do.
yes, on that subject, nurses like that make me quite nauseous and not right, because there is something wrong with my head because some asswipe hit me with a sharp or a blunt object. Let's just say, don't know the man, but
Yeah.
whatever. God or Yahuwah knows what went on, and Yahuwah will fix it. I don't have to,
He'll
or
serve,
make it right.
he'll serve justice.
Yep.
Justice belongs to him anyways. Vengeance is his,
There's no point of seeking it,
not ours. We're supposed to forgive because, you know, you listen to our Father. You have to forgive or you're not forgiven.
which is difficult,
It's
especially.
very difficult. It's very difficult. Sometimes you get that hook in you from being angry or want vengeance on somebody, or wish you would have responded differently and retaliated differently. So we have to be very careful with all of that. We really do.
Even Joe Biden, guys,
I know.
and Obama.
And in a
Actually,
way, when I'm looking at these people,
yeah,
I really feel sorry for them. I really feel sorry for them because they have nothing. They really have nothing. They may be millionaires off our backs, but if you don't have content and happiness, what do you have? You
because
don't have anything.
I've seen people in mud huts happier than people with mansions and
Right.
$1 million
I was
cars.
listening to a guy today, he used to be a multi-millionaire. He's kind of broke, not totally, but pretty close. But he says as happy as he's ever been. He lives in a plain little house, nothing fancy. He's totally content. He says, you know, being that way is, if you're not happy to begin with, money and material things are very temporary solutions. They're not going to make you content. That's why we have to turn to Yahuwah. Through the spiritual realm, through him, we can become calm and content. No matter what happens, we can still be that way.
Just like the whole attack, I never got scared or anything. I only got nervous being arrested when I kept walking through a bunch of these places without masks. Like Natural Grocers, I went through there, and they are just,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
the pink-haired, blue-haired people. Yeah.
Yeah, and not that's the only time. Other than that,
Well, I'm seeing
calm.
people wear masks now, but you know what? It's like if you don't do your research, you don't. I think too many people, it's like biblical stuff. Everybody believes the guy or gal up there at the podium preaching. But in really a lot of those, like people that do preach say, study for yourselves because I can make a mistake. So everybody, even though you hear stuff, you need to go look for it for yourself. You really do.
Because you're human, Steve, and not to mention you could be tired today, or you could, did a little bit too much extra work or something, or forgot and quoted something wrong, a different verse, different way. So that's right. And then not to mention, people need to go for themselves because you don't know. Yahuwah might be guiding you a different direction. You might accidentally flip a different page, or you might read something else that hits you, not you particularly, Steve, but the listener in a different way that might trigger something that.
Well, sure. It's like when during COVID, I went to church. I don't know why I went to this congregation. I only went to a few times. I go there and I'm sitting there and the preacher's talking about chapter 10 in Chronicles and First Chronicles. And I go, Lord, what? why did they have me go there? Because I just felt like I was led there. So I went home and I said, well, let me reread Chronicles. And as I was reading Chronicles, I got the vision of everything in DC turned red, and it was a very, very violent storm. A storm that was cleaning out all the debris out of DC, was blowing it out of town. And what are we seeing today? We're
Okay.
seeing a red storm come in and taking care of business.
Was that the same dream about Congress? Because you said something about Congress doing the same thing of a storm coming through and wiping them out, or something about, or not literally like killing them, but wiping them out, and then a lot of them no longer being there.
Oh, that was kind of part of that vision, because everything afterwards, later on, everything went through DC and started removing all the satanic emblems, symbols, anything like that. Yeah, and to clean out Congress, and just cleaning everything up. And just like the vision of the Titanic, when the Democrat, that's about 8 years ago in this vision, though, that the Democrat Party was the Titanic, and it was just going and sinking into the abyss, never to be seen again. This is exactly what's going on right now, too.
Yep.
Yeah. And just like, the thought that I got from Yahuwah when we were in DC, that he said everything's so evil that he has to step in and take care of it now. He said, what you got, you're proud of all of you for what you've done, praying and calling on you to do certain things, but now I have to take over because things are so evil that I have to take over. And I've had people put into certain positions. But that was the message I got back in January 6th of 2020.
That's what Juan says. The victory without God is no victory at all.
Right. He's the one that has to step in and take care of it, though, and put these special people in place. You look at President Trump's energy. It's phenomenal how witty he is, how sharp he is. Then look at the people he brought around him. You got Elon. The guy's an absolute genius. And of course, what's he do? He hires all the guys that are geniuses, that are engineers, software savvy, just really sharp. Then you have the other cabinet members that are just, it's like the Avengers. I heard someone say that. That's kind of like their light. They're coming in and they're going to clean out they're been assigned to clean out this evil and put things back on the straight and return our finances back to us, the people that they have stole from us. Literally, they've been stealing from us.
Yeah.
Enslaved us in their system.
And this is starting to be the proof. By the way, people want to know what they are. They're starting to be uncovered right now.
Yeah, they're being exposed. You can watch them when they're yelling, getting mad, singing their terrible little songs. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you ask them, by the way, speaking about terrible little song, what river, what sea? It's like, how are you chanting river and sea if you don't know what the hell you're talking about?
Yeah, which river, which sea? And if you carry that rainbow flag there, yeah, you better hope it's big enough to be your parachute, because they're going to throw you off a building.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they do stoning anymore, but
Oh, they do. They'll stone. They'll beat you to death because I'm telling you, it's they don't take kindly to that kind of stuff.
Well, they're not. That's the way we need to be. Not violent, but I'm saying we need to be zero tolerance about this bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
That's why lukewarm. God doesn't want us sitting here going, with all this stuff.
We can't say it's okay, like a lot of preachers from the pulpit. Oh, I don't want to offend anybody. it's okay. Jesus loves everybody. Yeah, he does, but he's not going to accept everybody.
He also said it's a sin, and a sin is a sin no matter what you call
Oh
it.
my gosh, in Leviticus it calls it an abomination. It just isn't it's an abomination,
And
which
speaking of,
means it's disgusting in his sight.
I was about to say, that's also what we were called for 8 years. When Obama was president, was Obama Nation.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that till after the fact.
And
You
that's
read the
kind of
Bible.
yeah, you're right. That's pretty sharp. I didn't think about it. Now I'm gonna remember that all the time.
Well, I picked that up a while ago. I was calling it, but I didn't know about the Bible at that time. I studied the Bible when I was younger. I went through school and went through a Christian school, middle school and everything like that. And then I got dumped into a public school.
Yeah.
Parents moving, all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, and then quit reading the Bible for a while because, I want to get baptized. No, you have to study before we can do it. Instead of, yeah, we'll baptize you. Because God doesn't go, oh no, hold on, wait, you have to know these 3 verses and then repeat them back to me before I can.
As
Yeah, no
long as
stipulation.
when you're aware of sin, when you become aware of it, and if you are a believer, then you need to be baptized. Because once you become aware of sin, then that sin will take you down.
That was the Seventh-day Adventists or
Yeah.
Adventist, if people don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Sit there in your lounge chair all day. You can't change channels. Can't turn on and off a light switch. That's the way the Talmud teaches too. It mentions that stuff. You
You weren't
can't,
that extreme.
and on the Sabbath, according to Talmud, not the Torah, the man-made version. If a homeless person comes to your door wanting food, you're not allowed to give them any food. Where does that do? I mean, how is that? That's not of Yahuwah. That's how do you reject somebody? Jesus even said, if your oxen's in a ditch, you get it out of the ditch on the Sabbath. It doesn't matter. If you got to do something, you got to do it. If someone needs help, family member, or you're like, I got to go to work, on Monday, and I have to get this done on my car so I can get to work. You're not going to get condemned for that. But you just have to, you got to balance it. That's all. Just keep it balanced on the Sabbath. There are certain things you avoid doing. Not supposed to buy, sell, or trade on the Sabbath. So
certain cities it's difficult. Mine closes down on the wrong Sabbath. They close down on Sunday, so it's either you get it on Saturday, you don't get it on the weekend.
Oh yeah, well, there's some cases you have to do what you got to do. I mean, but you work towards it. In a way, it'll be provided. He'll provide a way if you're honestly seeking to follow his commandments. Just like I see people, like when you're wearing crosses and stuff, that's an engraven image. You're not supposed to wear that. You're really not. Besides, he wasn't hung on a cross. He was hung on a stake. The cross came in from Constantine. He had the vision of a cross during a battle. That's where that came from. Yeah. So there's a lot there. There really is.
Yeah.
So, but that's, I mean, there's such a gamut of stuff we can talk about. But I want to get that blue coral. It's a blue Bible something where I can click on all the words and we can go to scriptures and go to Greek and Hebrew and English and Latin and look at all the terminologies for those.
Did you ever find that book you were looking for
Which one?
about healing?
Oh no, I've got it written down. I have to go back through. I will go to. It's called what is it? I remember it. It's a show. I have to go on there and on their site and find it.
Oh, Parallel Vineyard.
No, not Parable of the Vineyards. This was the Michael Rood show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I have to look at that, and I'm pretty sure though they sounds pretty legit. It really, really does.
That'd be nice to try to know.
Yeah. Because if our faith was as strong as it needs to be, we could do a lot of stuff. I mean, look at people on the apostles when they came to town. They could get healed just by being in the shadow of one of the apostles. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. I can only imagine what would happen now. Everybody will think they're a martyr because, like I said, everybody's looking for handouts and stuff when it comes to this. Oh, that's our guru. They're a prophet. Hold on, Steve. It's almost 2:00. Hold on. I might get an update.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you could get dreams and visions and stuff like that, but you're not going to get messages every night. Okay. I don't see that happening because he has his word here, and we've already had the prophets tell us what's going to happen. On occasion, somebody will have a dream or a vision, and then they share that.
And sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not.
Right.
As well.
And there may even be prophets among us now, but I know all these people that call themselves prophet are not. They could be hearing something, but it very well may not be Yahuwah. You have to be careful with that.
Familiar spirits too.
Yes. Absolutely.
But yeah, were the ones you're talking about, were they actually giving out doom and gloom too for Trump might not get in,
Yeah.
Okay, because I avoided them like the plague still because I can't stand the pink hair or the metal jacket wearer or the I got 2 houses, but I'm gonna move out of my other house soon, but I have a whole terrarium,
I know, yeah.
Steamrolling.
Because they've said things that God said that were going to come true, and they did not. They've been right on a few things, but some people have a little bit of you get a sense about things.
Yeah.
That's not always true. I didn't feel anything magical when I saw them in person. I didn't feel anything spiritual.
Ditto. I know. I didn't feel that the same way. And then also, while I was at the one in Colorado, someone got a message from God at that exact time as they were on stage and immediately grabbed the microphone. I didn't feel anything in the air. I was a couple, I don't know, probably about 30, 40 feet because I was in the media room with another podcaster talking to him and other backstagers we were meeting for the first time there.
Yeah.
So yeah, things were happening, and I didn't feel anything come in because usually when you feel the presence of that stuff, you could feel it within the room or within the vicinity.
Oh yeah, usually the Holy Spirit's that strong, you feel it. You feel an uplift.
None of it coming in.
No.
And so, yeah, a lot.
I mean, I've run into so many people online. Oh, you found this because you needed to find this, and God wants you to click on this, and I have a message from you from God.
Yeah.
Buy life insurance.
And remember, we're going to be wrong too, but we're trying to be right and use the discernment that we have and use the years of training that we've done. And I'm not talking like CIA training. I'm talking about discernment kind of training to where you've been around narcissists, you've been around Satanists, you've been around, not intentionally been around Satanists. Didn't know there were Satanists disguise themselves as a patriot until what? Here I am, Satanist. Yeah, you got to see the jester behind the puppet behind the curtain. But anyways, you learn from all that. You learn, okay, this is what they're going to do to you. This is how they do it, or this is what most of and we're giving you the discernment of that, and also what we've learned of the corruption of how deep some of this goes. It's not just one island. When it comes to Epstein Island, that's just one of many islands out there that they have for Pero and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's for small peasants. But no, I mean, and then the same thing with what we're talking about now with the health stuff. We'll try to tell you a little bit on it. We don't want to get in trouble or get sued of, hey, what works for one might not work for another person. What works for Steve might not work for me.
Right. And it depends on the brand stuff you get.
Yep.
It could be, say, the same thing, but it's not made the same way. So it's very difficult. You can make suggestions as like in a friend, or this is what I do, but you need to go check it out for yourself.
Yep.
These
are all still things.
Research it. Yeah.
These are all the things we've learned from our own stuff, like food. When Steve and I start cutting out wheat and other products like that, and we just eat nothing but meat, we start getting more energy and we do more often, but it's expensive because they killed so many fucking animals, not because we could eat it. No, they killed them because of this one got COVID, whack. I think it was just someone out for a fucking bloodlust, or not COVID, bird flu or swine,
the bird.
whatever.
Yeah, 100 million chickens got butchered a month or so before Bite My Ass left office.
Yeah, and that's another crime too, Steve. I believe is going against the food, trying to cause a food shortage is one of it. But the other, besides the crimes against humanity, and not to mention, this is a huge one. Read my lips, not president, never was a resident. He never even probably was a vice resident.
No,
and I'm probably sure he might not even have been a senator. But at least I know for sure he stole the 2020 election. And he will serve time for it in this world. If he takes his own life, then the next. Or of the 4 people playing Biden.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it took a massive amount of people to pull that off.
Yeah.
It really, really did.
They'll catch him.
They're too stupid. At 3:00 in the morning that you're down 200,000-300,000 votes, and you barely win by 16,000 or 12,000, and all the bags that came in 3:00 in the morning, 95% of that went to the Democrats.
And remember,
how does that work?
And then also remember, Basement Biden did not go out at all and campaign. No. And then you had Trump doing 6 rallies in a day.
Right.
Stopping at 2:00 in the morning, restarting again the next day at 10:00.
Look how long it took to count everything. I mean, look at even Georgia, the corruption. Philadelphia. Look at the corruption in California, Washington, Oregon. It's like Kamala only won in the states that didn't require voter ID. I mean, you got to think about that.
Oh, I also am thinking about the other part too, Steve. How in the hell can they go, Biden's the greatest one? You know what, Biden, get out. Come on, come here. You black Indian Jamaican.
Yeah.
You're black now.
Yeah.
Like, that's like saying Michael Jackson's white, but okay.
I know. Would Biden say, you don't vote for me, you're not black, or something like that?
Yeah, oh man, they were playing that over and over.
Oh my gosh. Only he can say that stuff and get away with it.
That's because our money is not used to bash at him like our money's used to bash against us, Steve. Even what was it, 4 or 5 days ago? Facebook still fact checking. Mark Zuckerberg is still using our money to fact check ourselves.
Yeah.
Enough with it. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a nice name for his name, but I'm not going to use it.
Pretty boy in jail.
Well, yeah.
Diego Garcia, Steve. Diego Garcia. That's the other place that we have that's like Gitmo.
Oh, really? Where's that at?
I believe it's over in Asia. I have to research it again. Don't quote me on it, everybody, but I'm pretty sure it's in Asia. and it's something similar to Gitmo. The same thing as Iceworm Base, and because we don't put all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to a rat of terrorists.
But they are connected with the undersea tunnel with that special fast boring machine that made the tunnel.
Yeah. It goes back and forth thousands of miles an hour. I mean, it's got to slow down just a little bit to cool down, but other than that, God helps out with it. My Lord. Oh no, you can also see it. It comes at you. It's a yellow flash of go. I'm actually describing what this podcaster said on the backstage. I would have the proof, but I deleted it. I needed the 1.5 TB on my hard drive. Sorry, if I had the $230 to go get another 10 terabyte hard drive, I would have to keep it so I could prove it.
Yeah,
Because I was recording the shows, is what I was doing. I would screen record as I watched it. Because some of it, I thought this guy was the greatest thing since sliced bread, or I thought he was actually a truth teller, somewhat similar of what I learned to start tasting the waters with. Oh, and by the way, you heard me quote Juan. There are some things that, if you don't know, disinformation is necessary. And then also, that guy's not privy to everything. He can be wrong in some aspects.
sure. Not everybody knows everything.
Yep.
That's how you keep things. But that's why the deep state is in utter confusion right now, because they didn't know it all. They're watching, they had people watching everybody like us trying to decipher every little thing that came out.
Well, that's why. Remember Lego Man from last show? Lego Man came out. This guy, he studied and also is the ringleader of it. The guy didn't even put the fucking Lego set together of
Yeah.
the Capitol. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You're right, Steve. That reminded me of when I was listening to a certain podcaster and I would find something that has to correlate with a dumb, but doesn't have proof that it goes to a dumb. And then they run with it. They'll go on stage and say, this is exactly what this was, and come up with a story too. Oh, this is 3rd Division going in over, Guadalajara or wherever the fuck. And underneath there right now, underneath the basin, going over and attacking it. And they found 6,000 children, but unfortunately they lost 300 men. Shit like that. It's like, who the fuck are you? I mean, seriously, where are you getting this information from? That's information that Trump would get. The commander in chief.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think we're in a time where, people are looking to tickle their ears. And they listen to people that tickle their ears. Because a lot of times when you look at a lot of people that do believe in those people, they're kind of like outsiders. They're not really fully accepted in society. So they're going to cling anywhere where they're accepted to.
Yep.
And that's how you get cults going.
And he was actually talking about, oh no, this is not a cult. And then proceeded to talk about how he had someone he followed that one day turned out to be a big bug.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's all I want to say. No more incrimination, Steve. Next subject, quick, so I don't have to, I don't want to edit it out. Keep going.
I know. Well, I'm kind of hitting my end here, anyways. I'm a little tired tonight.
Yeah, I know. I saw that towards the end.
I gotta get up and work on that car, and then I gotta do my stuff in the morning.
Yeah, I know your hormone changes suck.
Yeah.
When you turn into Stefan or Steve, fuck, what would be the female version of Steve? Stephanie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh.
At least you're talking about it, Steve, instead of, yeah, I got my other thing going, then I'll just say sex change.
Yeah.
Now that you said you're a trader, I mean,
Oh, trader, yeah.
You didn't say you're a trader. You said something about trading.
Trader, not traitor.
I know. Well, no, you remind me of my my father's son when I was young, or not my father's friend. He would go, my name is Al, not Owl.
Yeah, Owl. Or washing machine. No, it's washing, not washer. Washington. If you're from Washington, it's Washington, but if you're not, it's Washington.
Oh, I like to say Illinois. It pisses mom off.
Illinoises.
What? There's an S. The S is silent. Then don't put the fucking thing on there.
That's good. Illinoises. I have to remember that one.
I just wanted to go down and stock up on real apple juice. It's actually the color is golden like it's supposed to be all the way through, Steve. You
Is it?
don't use it for 3 or 4 days. Sediment settles to the bottom, and then when that sediment settles to the bottom, it's still cloudy all the way through. It's not like it's dilute because like if you go and
Right.
grab apple juice, the glass ones from King Super, Steve, they're actually almost like watery now. You know what I mean? Like you can
Clear.
see
They're clear.
they're
When I
dilute.
get the tart cherry juice out of the glass bottles there, you have to shake it because stuff does settle in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's where I told mom, I said this year I'm getting a juicer. So when I do want to go out in there and get stuff like that, I can get concentrate and start going back to where we were, Steve. I'll put the concentrate in a glass jar, with a lid on it, and just like we used to back in the day. Remember, what was it, 30 years ago? When you wanted juice, you go to the freezer, you grab the concentrate out of the what was it, cardboard. You unwrap and then you throw it in there, and then you add water. Throw it into a pitcher and add water.
I
Those
remember
days.
that. Yeah.
Now you have assholes saying it's 10%. It's just reminds me. Why do they have to remind me? It's 100% meat in your burger. Why do they have to remind you?
Yeah. Why I have to say it? Is there something else? If they're saying it, something else is in there. 100% meat, but what kind of meat?
Beef.
Yeah. Chicken. Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, serving 100 billion people. I mean, served. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. Served 1.5 billion people. Yeah. Under
Wow.
the golden arches.
I wish we were joking around about this, but unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this is probably 80% true or more. 90, I would say, at least.
Yeah.
Because we did the math the other day of I drove around Colorado with Steve, and there was not much feedlots. There's a feedlot up in Greeley, but there's not really a ton of beef around. Not just there, but if you think about it, the places that used to have them years ago, cattle roaming, and it takes a while for cattle to grow up to a part to be fat enough to be eaten. Or you could get venison, but we're talking regular normal people that are not
You're
sick and
looking
dead.
at how much hamburger passes through a grocery store every day. I mean, just think about it. All the hundreds of thousands of grocery stores with millions of people going in them. The amount of cows, beef that would have to be there.
Math ain't mathing up.
It doesn't add up. That's why my son and I go buy a real cow from one of the ranchers and they get it slaughtered. We even pet the cow, or at least I do, nice cow.
Hope you're delicious.
Yeah. You're going to
And
be a greaser. When I was a little boy, let my grandpa Rona go out there. One time I went out there, says, "Where's Scrubby?" I was like 6 years old. One of the cows he called Scrubby. He opens the refrigerator. He's right there. I go, "Oh!" I remember feeding him the summer before, because, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's life. To be honest with you, when I grew up there in northern Colorado, I wound up petting all sorts of different animals, riding different animals. I actually bottle fed cows. I had a cow up to a certain point until my uncle took it away, or dad sold it or whatever. Dad was into drugs, and I was going between my uncle's house and grandpa's house.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the cow sold. Not really knew what happened to it, but same thing. Also had another cow we had as a pet too, and it wound up dying of natural causes. I think they lived to like almost 30 years old.
There's people that have cows that are just pets. They keep them real clean and.
So that PETA
Some
guys,
of them. Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, you PETA guys that think where we draw the line of pet and food, but it all depends.
Well,
'Cause
yeah, you
You could have
become
a deer, by
attached.
the way.
If you're attached to an animal, you really can't kill it. It's like, I remember like a pig, you look into a pig's eyes and they look really intelligent. You know,
They're smart. They know what
they
they're
are.
doing.
You
They
know,
got-
an animal knows when you're ready to slaughter it.
Yeah.
It
Some
knows.
animals know when they're ready to die too, because they go alone. Even your domesticated animals, they'll start to be, want to be left alone when it's time for them to,
Yeah.
go on or die. Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
no, and then the other part is it is hard to kill a pet like that, but it sometimes it's necessary, or I don't know how to eat one though, or how it is to eat one. I don't think I ever got to eat the cow that that was like that. It was the milking cow, the black and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dairy cow. Yeah.
I forgot what the brand or breed
Well,
of.
the boy dairy cows get turned into hamburger right away.
As soon as they're fat enough, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Or breeders, one of the two. Because if you still go out greeley and shoot out the other direction, you don't go out that way much, Steve. But if you go greeley out out where where we go, but anyways, yeah, they have a couple breeding areas out there where there's calf. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting watching that because
And I remember when I was a kid, you'd go by those places and they're packed, and they're
Yep.
not packed anymore. They're
Oh,
just
almost
not-
every field had something in it, Steve.
yeah, not now. I mean, out here there's more cows finally, but
Hmm.
it still isn't enough because it takes a couple years before they're
Oh.
ready to go.
Oh, I know, and breeding age too, Steve, because some of them will start doing the breeding thing. Because my uncle said he likes to buy them pregnant, and it's better that way. Because then he thinks he gets two, or not thinks he gets two for the price of one, and then I think sells the mom or sells the calf. I don't know which one he does, but I would sit there and think of, hey, if you know it breeds, why wouldn't you continue? Not like make it breeding, but if assholes don't know, you could bring a bull over and it's optional. They're not raping the fucking cows like all these PETA idiots want to come out and say. It's an open option. The bull gets to go out there and have a little fun. If the cow doesn't want to have fun, the cow can run away. It's not that hard. They know
Right.
what to do.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I know.
Yeah, I know. We'll let you go, Steve. But like I said, I wanted to correct the PETA wise because you hear them going, "You guys are raping cows. You don't care about cows. Where's your pet at?" Shit, you'll eat your own pet if you started getting in the situation that you should be in right now.
Oh,
That-
there's a time when people would eat their own children. Although I couldn't do that. I would lay over and die. I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. I haven't heard about that. And the war situations I've heard about, them eating horses and shit like that. World War II.
Yeah, and horses were not supposed to eat either.
Yep.
It's really weird. It's the food laws are really and you in Leviticus and stuff. They're really in the Torah. They're there for a reason, though. But anyways,
I was about to say that. You're right. Before you go, the reason why we're not supposed to eat pig, besides being unclean, is full of parasites. People are starting to realize almost a lot of our foods are fucking full of parasites. That's why you're tired. That's why you're fatigued.
yeah, you got a lot of junk stealing your energy.